I would like to welcome to the program, and also I would like to welcome all of you to the program. As for the agenda today, we're going to start in-session mindfulness session and followed by a talk on mindfulness. And then we are planning to present all the reports we have received today. At the end of, as the time permits, we will allow some times for verbal questions, which end of that, we will conclude the session today. With that, I would like to hand over to the Bhante. With much respect, over to you, Bhante.
Thanks, Nadeep. Hello, everyone. So today, let's do an activity which is related to the topic that we are trying to discuss. So for this, you need a piece of paper and a pen. With that, we can start the activity. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to gather it. You just need a piece of paper and a pen. Once you're ready, you can use the zoom hand to show. Okay, I think that should be sufficient time to collect a piece of paper and a pen. Now, this is the activity that we are going to do. We are going to reflect on our life. We are going to reflect on our goals and things and see what are the things that are missing. Probably the things that you want to achieve within let's say next 10 years or so, right? Maybe when you get these things after 10 years, you'll be happy and peaceful. You may have such goals, maybe education, maybe some professional qualifications, maybe money, maybe some job, I don't know. So try to take some time, reflect on your life, and just list down the things that you want to achieve next 5, 10, or 15 years even, right? Once you achieve those things, would that be enough? That's the reflection that we are going to do. So we'll take some time. I hope the task is clear. Basically answering the question, what more do you need? Nadeep, what more do you need?
I've already decided, Bhante, a few years ago, actually. I don't want anything, so I prefer the solitary life. I don't know whether it's too late to come for a Nissarana. I don't know whether you're going to accept me or not, especially the Chief Bhante.
Usually there is this guideline, 60 plus people, we are not usually accepting.
I won't be 60 by that. Just at the boundary.
Right. Just list them and we'll see how it goes. When you are done with the list, you can use the zoom hand to show it. Okay, seems like some of you are ready. The question was, what more do you need in order to be happy? Maybe next 5-10 years, what more things you want to achieve, right? That was the question. And when we write answers, I want to make one point. You have to be truthful to yourself. Sometimes you may say that these are meaningless, but in your mind, probably are still going after these meaningless things, right? So that's another point. According to Dhamma, we know that we don't need anything to be happy, maybe, right? But still, in your mind, is that the case? Is that truthful, right? So that identification also should be there in your reflections. Shall we take few more minutes? So I think we can go into the discussion, no? Arosh, what do you have on your list?
Sorry, Bhante. Thank you very much. So I had three main things. So one, the first was to reduce my work commitments and the costs of my livelihood by at least, not livelihood, but costs of living, I guess, by at least 40 to 50%. Help my children be secure and independent in their life, and then have more time for spiritual development and wholesome works. Those are the three things that I noted, Bhante.
When I hear those three things, I feel like all of them are towards one direction, right? Having financial things, right? That was the first one.
The first one had a financial dimension, but I think the direction is towards time. I think more about time that is my own, that has some more control over time. But related to that is being able to live with less, so that more time can be devoted to other things.
So being free, it's towards that direction. Even the children, when they are independent, you'll be more free when you have more time. And also that third thing, spiritual development. So free time would allow you to develop that. So all three goals, I feel like they are towards the same direction. Maybe more and more peace and contentment in your mind. That seems to be the target or the goal. Right?
Very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Nadeep.
Yes, Bhante, it's quite in line with what Arosh just mentioned. Initially, reduce my financial commitments so that I have more time to spend my spiritual life, because I have a mortgage. I think everyone who lives in Western countries have that sort of commitment. So because there's no way out if we don't pay the mortgage. That's kick us out of the house if we stop paying the mortgage. So that's the first thing. So cut my expenses and mortgage. At the same time, I work on my health. So I need to keep the health to be, even if I go to the path of spirituality, I need to be health. So up to that point, I need to keep my health good condition. And then go full swing spiritual life eventually. Stop doing anything.
Okay, so that's your target.
Yeah.
Those things can really get you stuck, right? Maybe like for so many years, the mortgage things. Yeah.
Correct. So I can actually run for a certain distance and then shut down. So that's the plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So since both of you are talking about spiritual development, let me add my experience. On my list, I am having few question marks. What else do I need, right? So that's a tricky question when you are a monk. Earlier in the journey, when I came here, I remember having certain goals, like urgency. First, to become a monk, then the higher ordination, right? So those things were like more like targets, goals. I wanted. Then I remember the need to study the Dhamma, that was there. Then the meditation, progress in meditation, and that type of attitude was there. So those type of things I remember having in my mind. But with time, of course, these goals, you can't rush them. That's the thing. You can exhaust yourself thinking and trying to rush them, but it's not how it works, right? When you come to a place like this, it's out of your control mostly. The system will decide when it will happen. The going forth or the high ordination, all those things, the system will decide, right? So after some time, I realized there is no point, trying to get these things or targeting these things. But somehow they happened. I had to probably stay like, I don't know, 9 months or so. Then the novice ordination. Then after some time, high ordination. Then there was something in my mind like, seniority. Seniority is a big thing when it comes to Sangha, right? So that was there. But somehow that too happened in a way. Time goes by. It's a journey with time, and you realize now you have gone forth. Now you have high ordination. Now you have seniority. What else you need, right? So that type of a struggle is always there. I try not to have any goals nowadays, because that's the livelihood. At least you have to try. The mind will make something, of course. The mind will make a goal out of these things. But still, this type of a livelihood might support, not having any goals or targets. But in a way, that's an energy killer, right? When you have no goals, no motivations, then you struggle with your energy, right? Usually the goals, targets, these things create our energy, right? When they are not there, it's not so easy as you say, right? It becomes a totally different struggle, because now you lack energy, you struggle maintaining your energy, right? Even the meditation, same. You guys probably come here once a week and practice diligently. But for a long-term practitioner, maybe when they do for like so many years, then they struggle with energy. It's difficult to maintain that pace, right? So those type of things are there. But anyway, my journey, I feel like it's a struggle with time. You can't just rush it. You just have to let the time go by. That's the secret. Whenever new people come here, they have the same goals, targets. I want to become a monk. I want to do it as fast as possible. That's how they say. So I tell them, let the time do its magic. You can't rush it. You can't push it. It's not possible. Now the system is in control. So let the time do its magic. That should be the, advice, I guess, for that journey. Yeah. Okay. Chamari. Yes. Do you like to share something?
Thank you, Bante. I have got 7 things written down, and they are all to do with just continuing to practice. So there's one that is about, okay, let me actually read. So just to continue with the practice, that came to mind as the first one. continue to associate with Dhamma friends, continue to learn Dhamma, then also continue to work with reducing aversion and greed in mind. And that's like a gradual process, as I understand, to have enough resources to support the mind and body, continue to develop contentment and peace, keep an open mind with whatever happens. So I think it's much more continuing with. It doesn't mean that it is always working 100%, but the processes seem to have started. So that's my list, Bhante.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Now, your list, I feel like, it's more towards accepting whatever the present status of your life, and somehow trying to continue towards the proper direction. So I don't know, it's like you can be in a household or a lay life, you can be a monk, but still the struggle doesn't end. It's like some people, they feel like, when they go forth, it would end. But in reality, what happens is, no matter where you are, no matter where you go, if you have that lack inside you, it'll always be there, right? So if you can be peaceful wherever you are, whatever the life that you are in, that's the proper way. That's the proper practice. For example, there was this boy from America. He was from California, and he was a lawyer and everything. So he took 3 months of leave. He had a goal. He was saying that his emotional health was in trouble. He was saying that he was earning well, having a good job, but still he wasn't happy in his life, right? So he took 3 months of leave and he came here. He visited us earlier and he had contact with us. So this white person, he came here for 3 months. So after coming here, within 2 weeks, he got irritated, annoyed about everything. He was irritated about the weather, too hot and humid here. Then the food is too spicy, right? So that's another thing. The people in the meditation hall, the locals like Nadeep, they are making too much noise, right? Then something else was there, right? So those excuses he had. Within 2 weeks, he got really annoyed, irritated, and he left. So he gave this reasoning for him to leave. Because of these things, I am leaving, he said, right? Now he would, what he would do, he would go back to his old life. He would go back to the same miserable life. And no matter whether he is in California or no matter whether he is in a monastery, he is in a struggle. He has this lack, right? So he's finding fault with the outside because of these things, right? So that's one of the examples I remember. Wherever you are, if you can be happy, then that is the true happiness. Whatever the life that you are living, if you can be happy, then that is the true happiness. For that, I think the practice helps a lot, right? Of course, you can come to a monastery, spend some time, develop your practice, but again, you have to go back to the usual life. You sit in meditation, you think that you have to be in that same posture forever, right? I won't get up from my sitting session. No, that's not the way. You have to end it and go back to your life. From the sitting session, you have to end it and go to the next starts. From the walking, you have to end it and go to the next one. From staying in a monastery, you have to go back home, right? So that change we should be able to accept, and that is how I think we can attain the proper peace. So that's why for people who come here, we tell them now it's enough, go home. And they get angry. They say that you are trying to push me towards lay life. You are hating me. That type of idea they say. But in reality, it's not all about staying in a monastery. That's not how it works. Instead, no matter where you are, no matter whatever you do, you should be able to, have peace and contentment in you, right? So, much better accepting the current status and, trying to find peace in that status, right? That's the idea I got when I heard you. Okay, we have Ashini and 2 more hands, I guess.
So enhance, I have only 2 things in my mind to achieve in the future. One thing is higher state of mind with high vibration level. The other one is enough money to do any good method. That is what I want currently. Actually, I focus much on higher state of mind, but the problem is when I'm staying at home, mainly the focus is on money from the other. That influence is there from outside, so I am also attracted to that. So if I want to avoid the necessity of money, I have to go somewhere else where money is not used. So I'm facing this trouble without a proper way to get my needs. I can't be in the lay life. So I like to get the ordination, but there are some obstacles. But currently, these are the 2 things I'm having in mind. Thank you.
What's the first one? Higher vibration. What did you say?
Higher state of mind with high vibration.
High vibration, more like positive vibration. I think that's
Yes.
what you are targeting at. So positivity, it doesn't appear, overnight. That's not how it works. You have to work towards it. It's always gradual, right? Incremental levels you have to go one by one. So that's how it works. You can't wish it. It won't happen like that. So what I see is that whatever you do, let's say you go work somewhere for like, let's say 6 years, 1 year, 6 months, you do a job, right? So if you do that, then that level of positivity will be achieved. It might be a lower level than you are expecting, but at least that level is achieved. It takes real effort to continue a job for few years in the same place. Really hard. Even my work experience, I felt like many people who came there, educated, talented, within 3 months, they get sick and tired of that place. They left. It was a family business, lot of politics involved. So all the educated people, talented people, they didn't want to work there, right? They were complaining about the other people that they are like this politics. I can't do this, right? But probably I wasn't that talented. I stayed, right? So three months, 6 months, 1 year. Then when it comes to like 3 years, we were the people who were making decisions there, right? So it takes some effort. It's not easy. Even a job, doing it for like 1 year, it takes so much time, effort, right? So you have to make sure that you are achieving that positivity little by little, right? Step by step, and developing it. When it comes to a job like, going forth or a monkhood, it requires a whole lot of positivity, right? So otherwise you'll end up hating the people, complaining about whatever it is, right? So it takes a lot of positive vibe. So that level all of us can achieve, but you have to make sure that you are taking step by step, incremental steps, little by little, right? So that's how you can achieve positivity. Even working in a place for a long time, 6 years, 1 year or so, that helps with building up some kind of a positive vibe. You are earning yourself. It helps. You can buy things. It helps, right? So that's how it is. So gradually, step by step, towards positive attitude, higher, little by little, moving higher. So that's the idea I want to give. Hiranti.
Sorry, thank you. I just want to improve on my meditation, to progress in the meditation. And also I want to be healthy so that I will be able to, carry on with the meditation, what I want. And less demanding jobs at home, which I normally do, attending to everything in the house. And that's all really. That's all, especially to progress in the meditation, which is the main thing.
Yeah, when it comes to meditation, it's a funny thing, progressing in meditation, that very attitude usually ruins the meditation. It takes a lot of time to realize that whenever you try to progress in meditation, especially the real meditation that we are talking about, when you try to progress, that very idea, that very attitude becomes a hindrance, right? So meditation is more about non-doing than the doing, right? Beginner, they don't understand it, but with time you realize it's not about doing, it's about non-doing, right? Refraining from doing anything. That's the very idea. So when we try to progress in meditation, how would that work with that very idea of meditation? So that's the question. Even I, on my list, had it earlier in the journey. I wanted to progress in meditation, but progressing won't go very well with meditation. That's the issue. So it's more about doing nothing, doing nothing, not physical bodily actions, verbal actions, as well as mental actions. When it comes to mental actions, it's tricky. So gradually we learn the art of doing nothing. Step by step, we learn the art of doing nothing. So that's the true meditation. Somehow we need the energy. We need energy to practice, like your attitude. I want to do sitting session, walking session. That energy we need. So in a way, it's good to have a target towards meditation. But at the end of the day, you realize it's not about a target. It's about, giving up a target that's there, right? So that's the idea I got when I hear your list. Rajika?
Avasarai Bante, thank you for the opportunity. Actually, last few months, few weeks, I was just thinking of this question, what I really want from this life. And I think with mindfulness, I kind of develop the state that I understand my mental state, and I can be easily distracted and disappointed, like, I don't know, then I find what I really want in my life is that I want to achieve a mental state that where no incident or no person can disturb my mental peace. So that was my kind of ultimate goal. I know it's not easy, but this is where I'm targeting. Like whatever I do, I try to stay in that mental state that no person or no incident disturb my mental peace. But saying that, I still have to, live my normal life. And when I try to stay away from all these, focus on this target and not to really focus on my physical life, and then I find like it's very difficult. Like I have low energy. I feel like I'm kind of useless. So then I try to make a timetable and to spend my day. So then in my timetable, I have kind of four areas. First one is maintain my practice. And then the second one is improve my health, and then fulfill my responsibilities as a mother and wife and the co-worker, like for my staff as my job role. And then the last one is how can I contribute to my community. I think when it comes to like when I try to spend my time, contribute my time to the community, I find that's a very good way to see for me to see my target. So then that way I can still be useful, and whatever I do, all these 4 areas, I'll try to see how I react to those incidents, and when I dealing with people, how it impact my mental peace, and I try to keep that mental peace, whatever happened around me. And finally, I find it like when I heard that Bhante talk about the positivity with Ashini, and I find like no matter the positivity is always our perception. I find like nothing change around me. I find when I change my perception to see the things in positive manner, I find it's always positive. It's just like the half empty cup and half full cup. Like I have heard that story so many times, but I never actually practice it until now, when I really reflect my thoughts, patterns, and how I react to the outside. Then I realize it's just my perception I need to change, nothing else. Thank you, Bhante, for the opportunity.
Okay, that's a nice list. The most prominent one I heard was the peace within. No incident or no person can disturb the peace within. Right? So that's a great goal, but it takes time to achieve it. At least a certain level, probably like 50% or so, if you achieve, you'll feel real peace within. Right? Once in a while you get carried away, that's still fine, It's a life that we are living. It's a human life. So it's okay. But I mean, like, at least somewhat if you can achieve that within, then of course you'll feel so much peace within. Right? So that idea is nice. That's a nice way to put it. I think that's the very idea of this practice as well. Nothing can disturb you. Nothing, no person, no incident can disturb you. Then that will be your real peace, right? Not some temporary status in meditation, but in reality, in dealing with real life. So try and let us know if you achieve it. Yeah. Okay. I think we took probably 20 extra minutes for the activity. I don't think that time was wasted, so we'll end the activity and go forward. Nadeep, you can take over.
Thank you very much, Bhante. So nice to share everyone's future plans, because it's never going to be always come to fruition. Let's try. Next on the list, we have talk on mindfulness. Today's topic is about what even I couldn't recall.
It's on screen.
Yes, Bhante. Yeah, so I would like to invite Bhante again with much respect on today's topic. Over to you, Bhante. Much respect.
Okay, thanks, Nadeep. So this is a continuation from last week, and I think the topic was greed, and it has this very nice quote, which I can't see. It says, I think a king who is a big fan of the crown can never be a good king. So that's the idea that we discussed last time. This is somewhat related to the greed. That was the topic that we discussed. So today also we'll take some time to discuss maybe further into the same topic and see how we can relate that to our life and the practice. Now, let's say when we were growing up, our parents, teachers, and the society, they were always asking us to achieve more. They were asking us to get more marks for the exams. They were asking us to achieve higher abilities in whatever the activities that we do. They were asking us to excel in sports that we do, right? So this way, starting with parents, teachers, and the society, always they ask us to achieve more. You are not good enough, right? Not enough. That's what they say. Not enough. You need more marks. The marks are not enough, right? You need to get the medals. It's not enough, right? So this way, from childhood, we are trained with the same mantra. Not enough. That is the mantra that was used on us since the childhood. If you are a child of high achieving parents, then it is worst. Fortunately for me, my parents, they weren't high achieving. That worked out best for me. I was, I didn't care, it wasn't forced on me. So whatever the marks I get, those marks are fine. Whatever the things I achieve, those things are fine. Not good for your development, of course. But in a way, it was helpful to live the life of a child. Right? So, if you are a child of high achieving parents, in other ways, if you are a victim of high achieving parents, then you have it worst. Not enough. Not enough. In general, I'm saying, not all the time. There could be exceptions. But still, usually the parents, teachers, and the society, they say not enough, right? So this is how we grow up. Our early years has a lot to do with this. And once we become adults, the same mantra is always repeating in our head, right? You might say, not pretty enough. Or you might say, not smart enough. Or you might say, not rich enough. Or one might say, not social enough. Right? So that way, again, the same mantra continues. If your mantra is not pretty enough, then you'll do whatever that takes to achieve that. That if that's your mantra, that's why this new age cosmetics, that's a good business, right? Because you go on social media, there's this ideal man and woman, If you are a woman, you have to be like this. If you are a man, you have to be like this. That ideal image is there. It is fed to us without us even knowing. Whatever the commercials, they show that. Right? That ideal family is there. Man, woman, and 2 children living in this type of a house and a car. Right? If you don't have that, then you are a failure. So that's the idea that's fed to us. We don't even know it. But whenever you go on social media, whenever you watch TV, wherever you go, those advertisements, they will tell you that you are probably not pretty enough, right? Or probably you are not rich enough. So if your mantra says you are not pretty enough, you'll do whatever that takes to achieve that. Probably you'll do even surgery to achieve that, right? Those plastic surgeries, of course, if you have some kind of a deformity, that's fine. But nowadays, the plastic surgeries are used in different ways. Breast implants, those things are the main sellers there, right? Then some people, they inject Botox in order to, be more, I don't know, be more beautiful in their skin or something, right? So this is the new age that we are living in. And whatever the mantra that you have inside, according to that, there is this outside product. If your mantra is, you are not pretty enough, then of course, there's this outside product and service for you. Let's say if your mantra is, you are not smart enough, then you try to achieve your education goals. You want to learn, you try to accumulate knowledge, right? That way you do. And these days, with education, so many people, they exhaust themselves. Go to a university and talk to them and see how their mental health. Some time back, we went to this private university, and the teachers or the lecturers, they were saying that these children, during the exam times, they have these high stress levels, and they can't even retain food that they eat. They become bulimic during the exam periods. They vomit their food. That's how they are during those times, right? So probably that's too much in the name of not smart enough. And at the end of the day, you might harm yourself, you become depressed. I don't know. So that's another mantra, right? Then not rich enough would be another one, right? So you want to earn more money. Whatever the ways that will bring you money, you'll try to follow those things. You'll try to earn through those means, right? If your mantra is not rich enough, you'll do whatever to get money. You want mind, social norms, you want mind, friends, family, just the money is needed, right? So depending on our mantra inside, we have this outside behavior. But you have to understand, where is this lacking? You are not enough inside. That's the issue. Not enough inside. In your mind, you are lacking. In your mind, you are not enough. Then, of course, outside works according to that. If you are lacking in your mind, then outside there's this product. If you are lacking in your mind, then outside there's this service. If you are lacking in mind, then outside there's this goal or target. So this way, again and again, there's this not enough feeling inside. And as a result, you are not enough in the outside world. Let's say other people can come to you and tell you that you are not enough. You are not rich enough. You are not pretty enough. You are not smart enough. You are not social enough. The society will tell you. But still, if there is no lacking inside, would that matter to you? Somebody comes and tell you that you are not pretty enough. But if you are not lacking with your appearance, then would that change you, or would that distract you? No, right? So it's always a lacking inside. It's not outside, right? When you have that lacking or not enough inside, as a result, you are not enough in the outside as well. Right? Don't think that it's the society. It's actually our mind, the way it was programmed or way it was trained. So we are always feeling the lack. Sorry, I am having big trouble with my throat. Okay, so always when you have that lacking inside, There's this lacking outside. The outside things matter to you. The things people say, they matter to you only if you are lacking inside. Somebody come and tell you that you are not pretty enough. It matters to you if you feel that lack inside. Somebody comes and tell you that you are not rich enough. It matters to you if you feel that inside. So always this lacking is inside. That's where it starts, right? So when it comes to the practice, the very idea is enough, being enough. That's enough. Whatever you have is enough. That's the very idea of the practice. Let's say when we even introduce mindfulness, that's the very idea. Be happy and peaceful with the present moment. You don't need anything else. And during the walking, can you embrace the present moment? During the sitting, can you embrace the present moment? That is the very idea of the practice. For a beginner, it might be really hard. They come with 101 excuses, saying they can't embrace the present moment. The present moment is lacking. Because of that lack, thoughts appear. Because of that lack, they get distracted. That way they are complaining, they are saying. But the proper advice would be to train yourself again and again and try to embrace the present moment more and more. And with time, the practitioners, they become much better at it. Of course, with time and with proper advice. If you get proper advice, if you do it again and again, then you realize you are becoming much better, embracing the present moment. It is enough. The present moment is enough. Whatever that's there, it's enough. Right? So that's the very idea of the practice. I remember this poem. It's about mindfulness. It was written from a poet called David White. The title is Enough. And it says, these few words are enough. If not these words, this breath. If not this breath, this sitting here. This opening to the life we have refused again and again. Until now. So that's what the poem says. It's enough. These few words are enough. If not these words, this breath is enough. Sitting here, that's enough. Right? So that's the very idea of the practice. With time, you can achieve that. With time, you feel that you're embracing the present more and more. So with that, I'm keeping the talk short today because I'm having trouble speaking, right? With that, I'll end.
Much merit, Bhante, despite of having big issue. So thank you, much merit for delivering the talk. Next up, the presenting the guidelines for instruction for beginners. I would like to invite Aro, and also the presenting the reports which we have received today. I would like to invite Arosha to present their reports today. Over to you, Arosha. Thank you.
Avasarai Bante. Thank you very much, Nadeep. Will you be bringing up the guide on the screen? Oh, yeah, wonderful. Thank you. So yes, let me begin by walking through the guidance for this program, Mindfulness for Beginners. So the starting point is to get the basic instruction in mindful walking and mindful sitting practice. And to help everyone with this, either as a refresher or if you're a beginner, there are 2 videos that are linked here, and I think will be also shared in the chat, the links to these videos and the instructions. But the first video is on mindful walking and the second one is on mindful sitting. And so having watched these videos, you should allocate some time daily to start practicing mindfulness in these 2 forms, walking and sitting, and continue this for a few days until you've experienced at least 2 hours of each practice in total. And once you've got to that stage of practice, you should have enough experience to try and start writing your experience as a reflection report with a question or statement about your practice. So you can write these reports under the titles of mindful walking and mindful sitting. And we ask that you describe what you felt during these practices. So what you recognized as your walking and sitting posture through your mindfulness. And you can include all the prominent sensations like the texture of the ground on the soles of your feet, the pressure points, the ways in which your body shifted weight from one leg to the other. And then for sitting, you might have, again, pressure points where your body makes contact with the external environment. But also the sensation of incoming and outgoing breath at your nostrils, the rising and falling of your abdomen, and so on. So once you have written your report, you can send it to us using either the Google form linked here or the email address beginnersnv@gmail.com. And we will then read that report for Bante's guidance. So Venerable Bante will listen to the report and offer some advice and guidance on how to continue your practice. And then you should continue your practice according to the advice given. And finally, I'd like to mention that even if you are not able to make the session where your report is read, we do record all of these, and the recordings are made available on the Nissarana Vanaya website that is linked here. So that concludes the guidance for this Mindfulness for Beginners session. And now, with Bante's permission, I will read the 2 practice reports that we have received for today's session.
Okay, Arosha, go ahead.
Thank you, Bante. Much merits. So the first report begins, mindful sitting. Sat on a cushion in a comfortable position. Sensation of breath noted near nostrils. When attention moved to thoughts or sounds, for example, it would spontaneously return to the breath. This continued in cyclical manner, sometimes subtle breath and at other times prominent breath noted. Acceptance in the mind. Spontaneously came out of the session. Sat for 58 minutes, although it felt like only half an hour had passed. Mindful walking. Walked indoors on carpeted floor. Walking began at a regular pace. Feet movements prominent at the beginning. After some time, the pace had slowed down. Noticed body weight shifting from side to side. Walking continued and less details of feet movements observed. There were thoughts, sounds, and some emotions that arose during the walking period, although observation returned to walking afterwards. Walked for 35 minutes. Tingling sensations and vibrations in parts of body continued for a while after the session. Mindfulness during the day. There was lack of interest in many tasks and duties in the past few weeks, which has not changed much. Despite this, the regular activities, including daily practice sessions, continued. There was no disappointment or expectation in the mind, just observing this period as it unfolds. Dear Bhante, look forward to your valuable feedback. Much merit to you. Thero Saranai. End of report, Bhante.
Okay, in your report, as you mentioned, 1 hour spent in the practice, but it felt like 30 minutes, right? So that happens when you embrace the present moment more and more. Usually the perception of time stopping and, being it too long, it comes with the thoughts going into the future and the past. That's how it comes. But the present moment is more like the timeless, right? When you embrace the present more and more, the time loses its meaning. You feel the timeless, right? So that's why you feel it, and it's a good sign. Even in day-to-day life, no matter what are the things that come, you just go through them. You don't feel like, planning, thinking, trying to solve everything. And the time passes by much faster. That happens. So take those positive signs and continue your practice.
Thank you very much, Bhante. The second report begins, sitting meditation. Primary object, watching breath. In and out breaths equal in length, more prominent on right, later on the left. Warmer out breaths. Breath appeared further away and face distorted. The breath then disappeared and reappeared. Images, aches, came and went, not distracting. Once a sound was distracting, which appeared to be very close, eyes opening briefly, but mind went back to breath quickly. Thoughts were short, distracting occasionally. Mind came back again and again to breath. Session lasted 1 hour, but felt a lot shorter. Mindfulness in the day. On a long drive, noted the pressure on parts of the hand on the steering wheel. The start and end movements of finger using the indicators. The changes in cool air from air conditioner and the hot sun on arms observed. The beginning and end of movement of foot being lifted off the pedals. The feeling of aversion when a car whizzed past at high speed. The increased heart rate and then calming it down after a short time. Using cruise control and the feeling of not having full control of the speed of the car causing anxiety observed. Hunger and thirst noted to appear and then pass. With much gratitude to Bhante and the organizers. End of report.
Okay, so the first part, the breath. You are feeling different shapes and shades of the breath, which is a good sign. Try to continue that observation. And being with the breath much of the time, that's also good. But it shouldn't be that much forceful. Let it happen naturally and try to observe different shades and shapes of the breath. That's the first thing. Then second thing, driving, long drives, they can be really exhausting. But if you are mindful like this, then of course, you realize even after 4-5 hours of driving, you are still fresh, right? The very idea is being mindful and observing the present, noticing what is happening. So that way, continue.
Thank you very much, Bhante. So that concludes the reports that we have received for today. But noting the time, I think there is time for a few minutes to spend on verbal questions if there is anyone who would like to ask their question or share their practice report verbally now, I guess. So I invite you to raise your hand in Zoom so that we can unmute you and invite you to ask your question, please. I don't see any hands up, but while we're waiting for our friends to think of a question, perhaps maybe I could share an observation, Bhante, and ask for your reflections on that, which was related to the talk and actually the exercise you asked us to do at the beginning, which is really helpful and insightful. It reminded me of a conversation I had with a group of friends now some years ago, where it was maybe a similar topic. I think we were discussing what it means to be done, or when we would think that our work was done, or our what we wanted to achieve was complete. And very similar kind of themes came up around wanting to complete our responsibilities to our workplace and to our children, but also a reflection that if we weren't mindful about this, what done means to us, I guess there's always something else that could we can find to be the next thing and the next thing. And what the conversation made me realize was the importance of realizing that being done is not a real thing. Maybe it's only a real thing in the sense of achieving a higher spiritual attainment and finally achieving nibbana, but in our lay life it is not really a thing. And so part of the practice is to develop comfort and confidence and not feel that getting to being done is something to aim for. Bhante, is that what would your advice be on that attitude, to not think about being done, but just accept that there are always things to do? Thank you.
Yeah,
Bhante.
so that's a nice idea. Now, usually, as you mentioned, there will be always something, right? You have a list, and when by the time you achieve them, still you may have a few more things added to the list, right? That way we continue. So in a way, in a life, as you mentioned, it's not about being done, but just embracing the journey, and having certain things is fine. That gives us more like purpose or meaning, and it helps, right? Even spiritual, we have a purpose or a target that helps, right? So I read this book. It's about man's search for meaning, and it's about Nazi camps and the mentality of those prisoners. Sorry. That book, it mentioned that as long as that person, the prisoner, they're having some kind of a higher purpose or a meaning, they can survive that prison. Let's say reuniting with the family, right? As long as that purpose is there, they can survive whatever the hardships, lack of food, medicine, whatever, right? But when there's no meaning, they give up, they become sick, and they die, right? So those extreme conditions, the prisoners could only bear if they had that higher purpose, a purpose beyond this camp, right? So it's a very nice analogy of those situations, and it says man's search for meaning. As long as there's meaning, they survive. Reuniting with the family, they survive. But they hear a news, the family is already dead, the wife and the children, they are already dead. Then this person loses the meaning, and within few days, he's dead, right? So that type of analogy was there. But I don't know with how much it is related to our practice. But anyway, as you mentioned, it's good to have some things, not taking them too seriously and, somehow continuing. Even a spiritual life, it should have some kind of a idea or a meaning to maintain energy, support the path, but not taking them too seriously. Even my life, I feel like when I have certain things to do, I am much more productive in my life. Even meditation or whatever I do, I become more productive, efficient. When I have too much free time, those times go in a wasted manner. Not even meditation, not even, teaching or something like that. Right. So solitude, although it is appreciated, solitude in a way could be dangerous. So that's why even practitioners, they are not advised to go directly into solitude. They are advised to live in a community for some time. You start your journey as a novice, novice. That's the definition, novice, right? Then Buddha says, stay with a teacher, a trusted teacher, at least for like 5 years. Time only won't solve things, but at least you have some experience, some idea about the practice by 5 years. So that norm is given, staying with the teacher for 5 years, trying to develop some wisdom within. So that's the very idea. Even going to solitude directly, it won't help. Nowadays, there's this popular belief that people give up everything, go to forest, and everything will be fine. That's just a romantic picture, but in reality, that's not how it works. They go crazy in those forests, right? And sometimes, trampled by elephants. That's the ending that comes. So having no purpose, giving up everything, it's not how it works. Gradually, we become less serious about these things. For example, even let's say the work I am doing, these programs. Earlier, I took them so seriously, right? So that's lack of experience. But with time, you realize, with obstacles, you realize you don't have to take them so seriously or so personally. Instead, you can do your part, but sometimes things happen, right? So that's a journey. That's how you realize it. You have to learn it the hard way, going through this process and realizing it's good to have certain goals, things on your list. But at the end of the day, if you are not achieving them, still you should sustain, still you should have your peace within. That type of attitude is good. So I think having targets, still not taking them too seriously, that type of a mental status, I think, would be nice, right? If we say no targets, no goals, then I don't think that's realistic, right? What we are aiming for is having so many things, probably like too many things still, but not taking them too seriously. For example, now here we do certain projects, like work projects and things like that, right? It's a fun hour, work hour, right? So that we do so many projects, but depending on the environment, forest, all those things, and monastery, it's being a monastery. So these projects you can't really complete within a couple of days as usual, right? So always something missing, or some man is missing, right? So no skilled labor, unskilled labor we get, right? So that type of things are there. So instead of having a single project, what we do is that we have like 10-15 projects. Everything is work in progress, right? So whenever there's opportunity for one, we do it. Now it's time for that one. But most of the time, you have to put it on hold till the right person comes, till the right material comes. It's fun. It's not like you are going to a hardware or going to a DIY store and buying things. Instead, whatever the scrap material, available things, leftover things we are doing just for fun. Nothing serious, just little things that we are doing. So you have to wait till that scrap material is there. You have to wait till the leftovers are there, right? So it's very nice. I feel initially I felt like, whenever there's this trending project, you can't be peaceful till you complete it. That was the initial mentality. Now, if you complete it, then there is this issue. So whenever the projects are pending, I am fine. Whenever the projects end, I feel sad because now I have to find a couple more projects, right? So that type of attitude is good. I think that has some idea of not taking things too seriously, right? So you take them lightly, but still you are so serious about the projects, right? When they are delayed, when the right people or the material is not there, you are not so much moved by it, right? Similarly, even in your life, if you can have that attitude, I think that works. Thank you for adding.
Thank you very much, Bhante, and much merits. And I'm sorry, Bhante, to ask the question and make you talk when your throat is struggling, but I'm very grateful for the answer and reflections given. Much merits, Bhante. I don't see any other Zoom hands raised or any questions to ask. So with that, I will conclude the report reading and Q&A part of today's program and hand back to Nadeep to conclude. Thank you. Much merits to everyone.
Thank you, Arosha. Much merits and much merits to Bhante. I think we come to the conclusion of our program today. Just to recap, today we have had a activity on mindfulness, which followed by the wonderful talk on mindfulness, how readiness affect our day-to-day life as well as the in general our life. Then we have presented all the reports and we have received much wonderful advice from Bhante to continue our practice. Let's pass whatever the merits accrued from this program to the development of spiritual expectation of Bhante, and also the initiator of this program, Chief Abbot of Nissarana Vanaya Forest Monastery, Most Venerable Udiri Gama Dhamma Jiva Mahathero, and also to the monks residing at Nissarana Vanaya Forest Monastery. Also, let's pass those merits to the wonderful organizers who tremendously extend their support over a period of time to development of their spiritual practice as well. With that, I would like to conclude the program. The program will continue next Saturday at the same time. Until then, I wish you all wonderful week and mindful week ahead. Thank you so much. Thank you very much and much merit. Bhante, much merit to everyone. Thank you so much.